Here's the first game. The yellow cones, see the yellow cones? That's the pitch. The scoring zone is the white line to the blue mats there. See that? Yeah. And the yellow cones to the blue mats there. Okay? It's a game of handball. Run it over the end line and stop before you go past the blue mats to score. If you run past the blue mats, it won't count. Okay, so I want you to practice on stopping as you get towards the end zone. If you're running with the ball, so Sam White and I'm running with the ball, Will, if you tag me while I'm running, it's a tackle and I have to give you the ball. If I manage to stop and stand still, Will can tag me, but I don't have to give it up. All I have to do is make sure that my next movement is a pass. RJ, love it, brilliant, good. Bobby, brilliant. White ball, RJ, good to try though, good try. Still 0-0. Great try, well tried. Lewis, well tried. Hello, young man. How you doing? I'm Ben. I'm Ben. Have I got to guess what your name is?
Charlie.
Charlie. Do you want to join the red team? So there's a red bib over there. Grab a red bib. And then if you ask Harry, he'll tell you what's going on. To change the game now, and instead of going that way, we're going to go that way. So the pitch goes from being long and narrow to being short and wide. Okay? But to score, let's start with the goalkeepers actually. Lewis, if you can go and stand just the other side of that yellow line, between the yellow line and the blue line. Harry, if you do the same at this end. So keep your bib on, but just stay at this end here. Okay, game changes slightly now, gents. Reds, you can't run with it, you only pass. Okay? Yep. And your objective is to get it into Harry to score.
Can you run when you don't have to move?
Absolutely. Now, Harry can move anywhere along this line, but he can't come onto the pitch, okay? But you must score within 10 passes. So you get to 9 passes, try and get it into your target player. When you score, so if the whites get it into Lewis, Lewis will return it to the reds so they can go the other way. The intention of the practices is to ask you to think about, is movement actually technique, and is technique movement? So if I'm playing a pass, there's a balance that's involved with it. The second question is, our human systems don't appear to work in isolation. So we've got a cardiovascular system, we've got a respiratory system, we've got a brain neurological system, we've got a muscular system, a nervous system, etc., etc. Now, when I'm making decisions, if it's not going very well, there's a decent chance it's going to have an impact upon my nervous system, probably on my muscular system, etc., etc. So what you tend to see is a lot of stuff that's physically based, driven by the sports scientists, which sometimes removes the football from the exercise. So if we understand that our human systems work together, to what extent do we incorporate those things in our practice? So if we want them making decisions, how do we build that into a thing that practices their movement while they're practicing decisions that they're making again? And the third thing, which will link to the third practice, is how do we measure how hard someone is thinking or trying to solve a game problem? Because what we can have a tendency to do is to physically measure stuff about how many metres the kids travel in a game, how much minutes they spend in the red zone, how many repeated sprints they do and what distance they travel at a high rate. And that's fine, I'm not decrying that. But there's times in games where I might get much lower metres covered, but I might be thinking really hard about how to beat this centre half or about how to fox this centre midfielder. So I might not get my yards in, but I might be working really hard up there and it might be really tiring. But I want to blend the physical element to it, which is about agility. So a lot of what you'll see tonight will be done in relatively tight areas. People will go, well, it was all tight. Absolutely. But in 6 weeks' time, we might do plan forward again and we might make the physical focus endurance. So you might go bigger areas, you might go longer periods of play, so you might get slightly different physical elements out of it while still thinking about the tactical focus being plan forward. Okay. Keep your ball, keep your ball. So if I'm Lewis and I give it to Charlie, I'm going to keep my ball, so Charlie's going to give it back to me. And all I want you to do is, if you receive in this half of the pitch, find somebody, in the other half of the pitch, but keep your ball. Get the ball from one half of the pitch to the other and to the outside in a maximum of 1 touch. Okay, so if I give the ball to Luke, yes please. If I give the ball to Luke, Luke, play me a pass that helps me get it up there in 1 touch. Play me a pass. Thanks a lot. There. Okay, so there. Maximum of 1 touch. So players in the middle, Think about how you're going to get your bodies around the ball as it travels. Go on, Luke, give it back to Arj for me, please. Players on the outside, think about passes that help somebody let the ball run across their body. George, that's brilliant. Well played. Good. So it's definitely a technical challenge, but it's got a movement element to it. If you watch the players that are receiving the ball from the end, they'll probably be letting the ball run across their body quite a lot from end to end. The players that are there will either step back there to allow like Will's doing there, so he can open up, or they'll let it roll so they can buy themselves time. George, excellent. Oh, George, well tried. Good lad. Josh, brilliant. Well done. Fantastic. Good lad. Maximum one. Maximum of one. Turn the ball around your body on one touch. Whites, play every pass. So ball, please, Harry. So if I play there to Lewis, I want you playing the pass this side of me there, and I'm looking for you to find different ways to play out and turn the ball around your body in one touch. Like it. Good, Harry. Good. Hey, Arj. Magic. Love that. Well played. Good. Good. What we're asking the players to do is to try and find ways of turning the ball that comes in on the safe or the high side around their body in one touch. Some are letting it run across their body, so Will there's letting it run across his body. Others are finding creative ways, like Charlie's just done there, to work himself out of the situation. Again, there's a physical implication in terms of the way they move their body to deal with the ball, as well as the decision-making element about what they choose based upon the pass that they get. Players on the outside, mix the passes up. Play some slow, play some quick. Fizz some just off the surface. See how they deal with that. Mix it up. Play out there. And what I want you to do is to move to the other half of the pitch to receive the next pass. Okay? So play short. Ready, Charlie? Run long. But however you run, try and run looking at the ball. Okay? So I might give it to McKeel this time. Just roll your ball to the side. Play short. Run long. So that you're always receiving it in the opposite half of the pitch. Jake, good. Charlie, I like that you waited for him. Good. Give him a chance to shift off. Good. Hugh, good. Lewis, well done. Here's the game. Whites score by getting it to Lewis, but you score by getting one of your players to play in and out of that box before you get it there. Okay? So for example, if George has got the ball there, I'm looking to drift into the box. Yep, play me in, George, and then play out there. Now if I play straight out one touch from the box, I score 3. Okay? If George plays me, I pop him back, and then George plays in, that scores 2. On the flip side, George, same thing. If George plays to me and I play to the unopposed player on the outside to play in, that's 1. Done this 2 or 3 times before, and it always makes me uneasy, particularly when people are watching. A, because it gets very messy, and B, because you don't get a lot of success. Direction under control. What I'm looking for is those little darting movements that go into the box that are in tight areas, but about enabling them to deal with the ball as they're darting in there. We've given them a tiered scoring system, which means if they score through the outside player, they only get 1. If they do it direct straight from the box, if the ball comes in and I can pop it round the corner to the goalkeeper straight off, that's 3. And if I link with a teammate to score, it's worth 2. The intention being that hopefully they've got some opportunity to score through the outside player if that's the best. How hard is it? If it's that hard all of the time, there's a decent chance that it just becomes defeating for everybody and they think this is so impossible, I can't get any success. The risk is the other thing from a mental perspective is if we end up with games that end up 17-15 after 10 minutes, it possibly suggests that it's too easy. So as you get that balance between stretching them to the point that they don't succeed towards something that they can score some goals in.
To simplify it, to make it easier if they're not scoring either end to end, if you're not agreeing it, if they can still score from the middle one to the red there or to the red the other side in the middle as well.
Yeah, and I think the idea of, I think there's that element of, do we rescue them too early sometimes and say because they haven't succeeded we should give them success, or should we just set them up to fail a little bit? And then look at their response when it's difficult. And that's that element of the physical stuff. People might think, well, there isn't a lot of physical going on here. We did this with some under 21s a few seasons ago on this course. We put heart rate monitors on the kids and you've got you've got very limited physical return off of the back of that. A few of the coaches are going, we didn't really get much of a physical return. I was like, well, how do you measure how hard they're working in their head? Well played. Well tried, good.